Alright there, hello there, welcome to our first and the next one will be done another way. Right now, it is currently March 28, 2026. I just came back from the No King's Day protest number 3 happened in Clearwater. As a matter of fact, the protest was genuinely larger than the previous one, which is a good sign. The protest was way larger than the previous one. I bet gas and oil and AI has something to do with that. But people showed up, and we got news today for you. I got lots of crazy good news. Crazy, not like necessarily bad news, more like we see all the troublemakers of the world are currently running over to emergency, right? They're in emergency, and it's working. We're working on it. Minnesota officials are suing the Trump administration, accusing them of withholding evidence related to the shootings of federal officers. This includes information linked to the murders of Renee Good and Alice Freddy. We also have Isabella's avatar being ruined, but we can go on all about that in places later. We gotta talk about AI, alright? Apple co-founder has admitted he is disappointed with AI. Steve Wozniak said that I often read things and they just sound too dry and too perfect, and I want something from a human being. I've looked into basically his insights into how Apple operates, right? And what Apple has been doing in the AI field, garbage. Absolute garbage. Then, okay, this video is probably playing audio. Then we have episode 4 of Amazing Digital Circus has been marked as made for kids on YouTube. Comments have been disabled, impacting its monetization. I bet Glitch is currently trying to fix that issue. If the issue is fixed, I'll tell you about it later whenever I report the news. We also have a network of private AI schools. Everybody, I saw this coming from miles away. A network of private AI schools has expanded to 22 locations across the country. Alpha School, founded by Mackenzie Price and private equity billionaire Joel Mott, uses AI guides instead of teachers. Tuition goes as high as $65,000 a year. What a total sham. Anyhow, we also have the FTC has sent a warning to PayPal, Stripe, Visa, and MasterCard over the banking lawful businesses. Lawful adult businesses had been financially targeted for years under the guise of reputation risk. If that is finally getting scrutiny, that's good news. Reminder, the Federal Reserve has opened a proposal for public comment on reputation risk discrimination in banking. Public comments have been surging, and a new FTC action shows this issue is getting harder to ignore. Keep the pressure on. And we will. I can go on all day about Visa and MasterCard and their current bullshit with payment processing, right? I can go all day about those folks. They've been ruining everything for gaming as a whole, alright? Gaming as a whole, the way it should be made, the way it should be marketed, is the problem with Visa and MasterCard's policies, which are not only abruptly misleading, horrible, and vague, and too broad. That should be regulated. I hope the FTC does something about it. And if the FTC ever does something about it is my question, because the FTC currently is sort of skewed with Donald Trump's administration. So this would be something conservatives are more informed about than Democrats. But besides that, we do have this is roblox, make new faces. Nobody likes force players to wear them, charge people extra for hiding them. Roblox profit. Why? Nothing. So here's another one. This is crazy. When I did participate in a protest, there were 4 different organizations that did appear that, well, besides normal people who came in from their home or out of their work to protest, there were thousands of people where I was. I got to see some of the very people who were at the protest, from ACLU, QuitGPT, No King's Day, and some people who were endorsing Brent over here for FL13. It's crazy good people, very interesting people. I could say the protest is still going to continue, though. It will go on for a few days, because I know some people have the time to stick out for a few days. I can't, unfortunately, because world keeps going. I can't catch up, unfortunately. In my position, not easy. But we do have a video of Bill Nye, the science guy, at a No King's Day protest. The very man himself. And I did make a video on it. I did make a edit video on the third channel about it. So if anyone wants to look into that, they can. But we do have our fellow Bill Nye the Science Guy himself, right, saying things about the No Kings rally nationwide against not only the Trump agenda but also techno-fascism as a whole, because techno-fascism is more consequentially more effective for this era compared to the control of government from the very traditional way of things, right? And I'll let him say his thing. I'm gonna mute myself and let him speak for 26 seconds.
Extraordinary times require extraordinary actions, and we are living at a very unusual and troubling times. These guys from ICE wearing masks, beating people, shooting them in cold blood in the United States without consequence. People, this goes way back 249 years.
By Bill Nye himself. 26 seconds. There's an entire speech or interview that he did online. I'll look into that at some point, and I tell you, he's not wrong. And not only is it disappointing that we're almost hitting our 250th anniversary of this country in this current light. Usually empires, right, if we were to look at the United States as an empire, you would go 250 years and not assume that it would be in this current light. But you know, lots of empires collapse every so and then, every few centuries. And I do not want to see the United States in that position, if you know what I mean. And politicians, especially them, should pledge not to take AI money. They are buying influence ahead of the midterms. Them who take AI money will lose authority and trust as the public bears the cost. That is true. Data center coalition, I'm looking at you. Their money will end up being toxic anyway. People are catching on. That is true. And some people would then say the question, okay, what industries are admissible? Good question. And she responds with, personally, I think we should get rid of all of it. I refuse old corporate lobbyist money, and I don't believe we should be bankrolled by special interests at all. Each cycle, the dark big money interests rotate, NRA, IPAC, fossil fuel lobby, etc. This cycle, it's the AI lobby. Not wrong. She's not wrong. I can back that up on this video. If anybody wants me to back it up on the video, please leave down your comments down below. Tell me why AI is more superior. And I will say, you're wrong. You're still wrong. And you're always going to be wrong. And I always made videos telling you why you were wrong. I will forever tell those haters, hey, you're wrong. Over and over. Because you're genuinely still wrong. And here you go. We have Bernie Sanders leaving a comment here saying, call me a radical, but no. We should not be replacing teachers in America with robots. We're talking about the unethical kind of robots. Alright. Then he says, we should attract the best and brightest in our country to become teachers and pay them the decent wages that they deserve. And some dumb Muslim fellas out there are trying to community note this simple statement that has nothing to do with misinformation, saying the rate proposed community notes. You have to, all this, I realize that most of these fact checkers, they're right, let's say 80 to 90% of the time. And sometimes there's like some conservative fact checkers who try to pass on misinformation through community notes by saying this is factual because we're the community notes people. I tell you, as advice for somebody who is like me, whenever you do research online, beware that community notes are not 100% always correct. Sometimes there's a longer story to things, which is why most community notes which are more effective ones usually provide links to articles you can trace down the sources to. This is my advice to you as somebody who does research. Then we have Sony has announced that PlayStation 5's retail price will now rise from its original $549.99 price tag to a $649.99 price tag. Why did they do this? People would wonder. The price hike will take effect on April 2nd, exactly 1 year after Trump launched tariffs on US imports. Yes, Donald Trump's actual tariff issues, right? The thing he did with the dilemma, making things worse, are now affecting PlayStation. So if any gamers out there realize why it got something expensive, it's not because the economy always makes things more expensive. You're somebody who is absolutely so and out of touch and need to do further research. Trump's tariffs are doing this. has impeded on so many businesses that I can't even count them. Let me tell you, so many businesses were affected by those terrorists. Then we have a U.S. court has approved a major class action lawsuit against NVIDIA and its CEO Jensen Huang. I criticized Jensen Huang in my video 2 times. The claim is that in 2017 and 2018, NVIDIA hit more than $1 billion in sales from crypto miners. They counted that money as normal gaming sales. Instead, this made their gaming business look more stronger than it should be and more stable than it was. And the court approval only allows the class action case to move forward. This was when crypto was being like this crazy all out thing in 2017-18. Let me tell you, I was there in 2017-18. If anybody remembers those zoo coins, no good. Now we only have Jensen Huang being taken to a class action lawsuit in court. So Jensen Huang himself, the $5 trillion worth company dude, the one that you know, the ones that amps up your gaming display performance, yes, he's being taken to court. Because, just so you know, all the people who say that we're not doing a difference by complaining about things, you're wrong and you're out of touch, you're slow and you're isolationist. We are doing a difference and we're sending all these companies to court, which the previous generation would have failed to do so. Virginia, early voting for redistricting amendment is happening now through April 18. For those folks in Virginia, you are also part of the struggle. Protect your voting power and help level the playing field ahead of midterm elections by voting yes today or on election day, April 21st. Go to iwillvote.com/VA for more information on how to cast your ballot. And before anybody says that I'm being paid to do this or paid to say these things, where's my paycheck? Get the hell out of here. And racists, go out of our country. Get out of our country. If you're a racist, get out of our country. I don't care. And I'm not being paid to do this. Vince, why shouldn't you be paid to do this? Because, as a matter of fact, if we had to pay every single person who is frustrated at this administration by, let's say, higher than the wage you get at a Subway, McDonald's combined, or some, more small business operated restaurant business, you would have to pay people billions of dollars in order to pay every one of them a paycheck for protesting. It seems that our country doesn't have billions of dollars to help their protesters with. So before anybody says that you should be paid to do this, you should go back to school and learn about how protesting works. We have here a very hilarious clip that I found online. Very, very gold of a clip. It says right here, posted by headquarters HQ News Now. It says, CPAC speaker, how many of you would like to see impeachment hearings? The crowd says, woohoo! And then the CPAC speaker says, no, that was the wrong answer. Let me try it again. So he asked the question, hey guys, how many of you want to see impeachment hearings? He told it to his conservative audience. Just so you know, CPAC is very conservative, very right-wing propaganda. Just so you all know, it's really bad. I can go on about them. So these folks are supposed to be right-wing people, right? And the guy, they're all basically there to keep applauding and cheering for the thing he's saying, right? And then he then says, hey guys, how many of you want to hear impeachment hearings about our president Donald Trump, right? He doesn't say his name, but he says, how many of you want to hear impeachment hearings, right? And then the crowd starts cheering, right? They're supposed to say boo, because why would a conservative want Donald Trump impeached, right? But they cheer, right? As in, like, they're saying, we want Donald Trump impeached. But, the guy doesn't get the answer he's trying to get out of the crowd, which are supposed to be saying boo. But they end up saying, woohoo, yeah, let's hear impeachment hearings. That's not what they do. Watch it first. I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to let you guys see this because this is hilarious.
How many of you would like to see impeachment hearings? No. That was the wrong answer. Let me try it again. How many of you would like to see impeachment hearings? No. How many of
Crazy. They're supposed to say boo, but they're going woohoo. We gotta hear impeachment hearings, guys. That's what they're saying. The audience is supposed to be saying boo, but the conservative brain, they're so dumb that whenever they say something, they have to go, woohoo! Yeah, we have to hear impeachment hearings. That's not what he's trying to do, but I guess, they're too stupid. And we have the plaintiffs in a recent class action lawsuit against Crunchyroll. And before my game disconnects on me, I'm gonna tap this, tap back in. Okay. The plaintiffs in a recent class action lawsuit against Crunchyroll are demanding up to $25,000 per person affected by the alleged major data breach that occurred on March 12, 2026. You know, when I tell people that trusting these companies with your ID, email, and personally identifiable information like your birth certificate and social security, those companies, they shouldn't be asking for your ID to watch anime, right? That's stupid, right? There was never a reason for them to do that, but they still did. And with this recent data breach that Crunchyroll is suffering, I was like, yeah, I saw this coming. This was so unbelievably predictable. After them, they were boasting about our cybersecurity is so robust. Trust us, bro. We'll keep your data protected. So that didn't exactly happen. The data breach, same for Discord, same for Microsoft, and Google, and Meta, and Valve, and all these other places and companies I can then list. Yeah, it doesn't. Just so you all know, Kash Patel recently got hacked. That is the FBI director getting hacked. I haven't even put it on video. Kash Patel was literally recently hacked, and that's supposed to be the guy behind cybersecurity investigation. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Anybody? Yeah, he didn't. He couldn't even keep his own account safe. Yeah, we have to keep these politicians and all these experts in their place, right? And operating competitively, right? Their incompetence shows lots of character. And believe me, I've seen so many people who were so incompetent. Boy, oh boy. I can make a book out of their competence, right? I can make a story. It would look like a story. The amount of places that were so bad at doing their job, they would look unbelievable. It would look like an AI generated these stories. Kash Patel, FBI director, gets hacked. Personal accounts hacked. The FBI director. You would see that on an Onion cover article for jokes and laughs. Like it's a joke, like it's not real. It's real, my friends. Then we have, it's wild how they're not even pretending to do stuff to actually help Americans anymore. That shows right here that President Trump's signature will be added to US dollars. This will make Trump the first sitting president to have his signature appear on America's currency. This is just an executive order for anybody who knows. This will not be permanent. This can be repealed. So, in a fit of how things are going, the money I have, physical dollar bills, right, does not have his signature on it. So I get to be the cool people who don't have that signature on their dollar bills. So unfortunately, with how things are going, this is going to be really annoying seeing his signature in my face. But we have good news. Mexico approves rule that prohibits AI dubbing. Work in professional productions must be done only by humans. And ironically, AI dubbing prohibited in Mexico, altered dubbing prohibited in Brazil, but we can't even seemingly do that in the United States and in Japan. Why are we doing that? Why is Japan and the United States the ones who are the snails in this situation? Mexico and Brazil said, yeah, let's just get rid of AI dubbing. You don't need it. Reasonable. Absolutely, I support this thing. United States and Japan, let's just support AI slop and AI slitcher. Let's pass it right through. Yeah, the duality of third world countries. You know, so as a matter of fun fact, the United States is now considered a third world country. We receded so hard. Like we receded 6 decades back in sociological evolution. We receded so hard that we're now considered a third world country. We're not even like a first world country where everything's like, we are the top of our game. We're like third world. Living conditions are so awful and disgusting. If I had told somebody, hey, how is it like getting paid $500,000 a year, right? Or maybe at least the bare minimum $100,000 a year. If I told them, oh, how is it living in America with at least $100,000 a year? You know, how much you get paid. If I told them, oh, how is it? They're gonna tell you, garbage. Garbage. Still working. Still can't afford things. 30 people who receive 30 to 40k a year, you're suffering. 100k a year, you're still suffering. That's how bad this economy is. You're not getting your value for your buck. Your money is not getting you value prospects or items or services. You're in the total dump and being stepped on by billionaires. Fortunately, they're all being taken to court, and don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. We're taking them all to court. I got you. For those who were following this channel for a long time, the amount of court cases I've been reporting on and acts and all these things. By the way, I will post a video of every single or bad person who we need to focus on. I have them all listed, their positions, their names, and legal names on there as well. I was making a video basically pointing out every single or bad person we need to focus on. And we should take all of them to court. We should remove them from the board or chair. We should remove them from their positions and have way more smarter and more ethically trained people in their spots so that we can compete against these people. Hiccups. So in order to be able to combat these people successfully on a long-term basis, we need to replace them. Remember, we can't kill these people. Not all these people can go to jail for what they did. There are no laws. It will take longer to make laws, put them in jail cells, right? Logically, you can't do that. It's inefficient to try to write laws and put them in jail cells. So we should put them in investigation, ruin their reputation with legal conduct. Legally, I have to say, ruin their reputation for educational purposes and for investigative purposes. So I'll legally say that before I, come back with other things. So we should ruin their name. We should take them out of their position. We should study their private life. We should dox every ICE agent. We should expose Kristi Noem. We should subpoena Kash Patel and all the people who are working in this operation. We should expose JD Vance. We should stalk Pete Hegseth and tell him, hey, how's cybersecurity going? Because I found where you live. Your cybersecurity sucks. It sucks. And we're gonna do that to them in their face. Then we're gonna go, hey Donald Trump, how's your deal going? How's those airplane trips? Is Delta getting on your nerves? Oh, they defunded ICE. How's the private army going? They're so incompetent that they're usually getting into court cases, being sued for what they are doing. How are those ICE agent loose lawsuits going on? I tell them, what are those lawsuits? Those lawsuits, how are they going? Is it too expensive? Hey, ICE agents, ask Donald Trump to give you money for your lawsuits. Wait, he only cares about himself, so why would he give those ICE agents money? He can't. He's not legally able to, and if he tried, he'd be arrested. That's laundering. Anyhow, stay safe out there. Protest peacefully. Join No Kings. NoKings.org. PTPT.org. We're gonna at this for 8 to 10 years. I'm gonna start saying that from now on. For 8 to 10 years. And we are currently March 28, 2026. Things have been going on quite fine. Rough, but fine. For the standard of living now, rough, but fine. Things are being done. We have losses coming in. The FTC is coming for Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal. And all these other payment processors that I can list off of my head continuously, right? Same for Honey and Klarna, which should also be in these lawsuits as well. Anyhow, F fascism, fro techno-fascism, stay safe out there, protest non-violently, know your rights. If somebody stops you, don't give them your name and information. You will talk through a lawyer. If somebody assaults you or tries to instigate violence from you, don't do it. They will put you in a court and get you in trouble. Don't assault people in a protest. Don't vandalize stores. Don't try to pull off anarchy. I know some of you are excited and want to pull off anarchy. Don't do it. It's not efficient. I'm sorry to my fellow anarchists who want to go and say that government doesn't exist. Not yet. Anyhow, Rise the Mutinist. And my name is Maggie. That's what you say about me is what you say about Saudi. I can't forget that. This outro's long because I can. Because I want to. Because I have editing power.